Hey everyone, welcome to episode 328, Other People's Opinions, Part 3. Welcome to the Harmony in the Home podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Hutchison. I'm a counselor, a life coach, and most importantly, an imperfect mom doing this work right along with you. And my goal on our podcast is to go from chaos to calm, feel less frazzled, and have more fun within your four walls to have more harmony in your home. Hey everyone, so if I do a three-parter on any topic, it is a very, very important topic. And, you know how, did I ever tell you that Grady used to, when he was little, like a toddler, he always would speak in threes, like his ands and his buts. He'd be like, can I have some strawberries with my yogurt? And, can I have some breadsticks? He always said everything was an and, so now I do it like automatically. And then he would be like, Mom, I have some bad news about school, but, I have some good news. I have bad news, but I have some good news. And he would always say, but. So now, like, literally I can't talk without saying and, or but. And he did it like when he was 5 years old, and he's now almost 15. What? And, his birthday was 10/10/10. How funny was that? Or is, not was. I mean, it was in 2010. So he will be 10 by the time this comes out, or 15 by the time this comes out, I think. Not sure when this comes out. No, he'll just be on the eve of it. Anyway, I'm planning for Lily's senior night right now, and I am like jacked up on adrenaline because the emotions that are swirling for your child's senior year, especially your first one. Well, I've never had a second one have a senior year yet, but I can only imagine it's like bracing for impact. There's so many activities and events and things to celebrate. And like she's graduating in the year 2026. So now on the 26th of every month, I give her like a little happy present. Like there's so many like little things like that your head is just swirling from it. And my head is swirling right now planning for senior night. Her last home game in the gym of her for volleyball, and I am all in my feels. Oh my goodness, I can't even describe how much I'm in my feels. I was helping her paint her parking spot for her senior parking spot, and I was literally crying while we were doing that. Mostly because they had like music playing and it was like a fun event. There's like some of the girls were like line dancing in the parking lot. I was like, oh my gosh, this is like unbelievable. And then I was like, obviously sad that she's going to be leaving the nest, but then I was seeing all the bonds of all the friends, and they're all going to be like divide and conquering each other. And it was just like, girl. Lily's like, are you crying painting my parking spot? I'm like, yeah, I actually am. She's like, oh my gosh. She gave me a hug. I was like, whenever I cry in front of the kids, it can go either way. They're either like super compassionate, they're like, oh my gosh, mom's crying. So I was glad it didn't go that way. And then her friends found out I was crying. They're all like hugging me and consoling me. I'm like, you'll understand when you have a kid. You guys have puppies, right? It's kind of like your dogs. Anyway, so I'm a little scatterbrained. I'm a little hopped up on adrenaline because I just have so many ideas. I want to like execute them all. I don't know how I'm going to get everything into the gym and it's like, I don't know how it's all going to work, but I know it's all going to work out. And it's like planning. I feel like I'm planning for like a wedding or a quinceanera. Holy moly, we're decorating the whole gym. Every player has like an 8-foot table that the parents in charge of decorating. And Lily's like, what'd she say today? It was so funny. She said, I don't like surprises. I hate surprises, and not knowing what's happening is stressing me out, but I want to be surprised. Like, I get you, girl. I just want to execute. I want to knock it out of the park, but like, I don't want to disappoint her. And it's like, we've had such a bond through volleyball and all our travel and all the things. This is like the big moment of like, don't mess this up, Mom. It's like so much pressure. It's self-imposed pressure, I know, but it's just, I wanted to make it a night to remember. And I'm not good at like event planning, and like if you come over my house and I'm hosting something, I will forget to ask you for a drink. Like, I don't have the gift of hospitality. Like, I know some people do, and some people like are so good at it. And like the other moms that I'm planning with, they're all Pinterest moms, and they're so talented. And I'm like, I will not ever measure up. So I roped in my sisters who are Pinterest sisters. So they're going to help me. Like, I have all the puzzle pieces. They're going to help put all the puzzle pieces together into like a beautiful display, because I need to back up, because I am so overwhelmed. And so like, I'm overwhelmed with the emotions. So I need someone like clear-headed to like take control of the raffia and take control of the plane, because this flight attendant is not in a calm, centered spot. Whoo! So I'm calling in for backup. However, I wanted to talk to you before I get into the topic of the day. Sorry for that segue. You're helping me externally process everything that's happening. I want to talk to you about herbal face food, which I have been using. I've been playing so much pickleball. Like, I'm addicted to pickleball. Like, it is like, if there was a Pickleball Anonymous, I would have to go to it because it is like a situation. We have pickleball courts in our neighborhood, and I literally can ride my bike down there. And then there's all these different parks in the area where you can just play pickup games. You can show up anytime and there's 30 people playing and you just jump in a game. It's like going to a pool hall and you just put your quarters down. You put your paddle down that you want to play, and then you just hop in. You play with someone, and then if you win, you stay on the court, and if you lose, then you go to the next court. You just bebop around. Your partner's always different. There's no like set time to get there. There's no set time you have to leave. Like, you can stay for 30 minutes or you can stay for 3 hours. Like, it doesn't matter. So anyway, I am out in the sun so much. There is a point to this. I'm in the sun. I was in the sun a lot as a kid, and I'm in the sun so much now. And I love, love, love the heat. I like one of those weird people. Like, I choose to go in the sauna because I love the heat. And I love sweating and I love all that stuff, except, oh my gosh, my face and my skin, I'm like, I don't want to look leathery, you know? But that's what happens when you're in the sun every day. And it's like getting over summer, but it's like very potent heat where we live. So it's like people come to travel here, and the first thing, when they come here for vacation, many people do, oh my gosh, this heat, this humidity. And I'm like, oh, I love it. Anyway, it does a number on your skin. And so I've been using herbal face food, and I know there's a lot of products. So if I were starting off and I could only get one or two things, and I can't pick one over the other, I would choose the cream or the soap. The serums are amazing too. It's so hard not to say the serums too. But if I were to start off, if I were to start off and say, start with the soap and the cream, oh my gosh, your skin will be smooth as butter. And then move on to the serums. If I had to, I would get the starter bundle, but my favorite probably out of all of it, where I feel the most difference, is using the cream, and the cream lasts forever. It's a little pricey, but you get 20%. Oh, I forgot to tell you about the discount. If you use the coupon code Harmony20, which I think is so cute that we have a coupon code, then you will get 20% off your first order. So I would definitely use that on the cream, and I'm telling you, the cream lasts forever. You need such a little bit, like thumbnail size, and it goes over practically your whole body. It feels like it just keeps going and going and going. Sometimes I mix it with like my another cream too, so it like even spreads out even further. Anyway, if you're interested, go to herbalfacefood.com and then use the coupon code Harmony20 so they know that we sent you. And that is a way that you could put a tip in the tip jar and kind of give a golf clap to the podcast if it's helped you. So speaking of the podcast, today we're talking about other people's opinions again for the third week in a row. Why do I do this? Because I would say that this is probably in the top 3 to top 5 what prevents people from living their best life, growth, reaching the next level, you know, all that good stuff. When you're in growth mode, you're gonna have periods of your life where you're in growth mode, and then you're gonna have periods of your life where you're just like in coasting mode. And I am telling you, I've been in both, and there is no wrong way, because when you're in coasting mode, you get bored and you're like, I need to step up. I need to like advance. And it's not your whole life in general, but when you're looking at the ULA, it might be like, I'm feeling bored in this area. I'm coasting too much in my fitness area, let's say. So I need to step up my game. And so you go from coasting to thriving or growth mode. And it's very like motivating, because it helps all the other ones kind of growth a little bit too. But then you get to a point where you're like, you know what? I don't always need to be growing, striving, going. It's like, I'm going to like peace. I'm going to live in peace for a little bit. So, you know, you still can like, then you go to maintenance mode, and that's more like coasting mode. And there's nothing wrong with coasting mode either. You don't always have to be on the, I don't know, the food chain, or like going up the corporate ladder of your fitness or your faith or your finances, or like, it's okay to just be okay with being okay and coasting for a little bit and not having to feel like you have to grow in all the different areas at all times. And then that's where the sense of overwhelm comes from. So other people's opinions, when you can kind of not cast them aside where you don't care what other people think, but you don't let it make decisions in your life. You don't let it have a hold on you. And so I'm going to let you listen to something from Peter Crane, whose Instagram channel is amazing. It's Crane. I love the way he talks. He has such a calming voice. He's talking and I'm just like, wow. Like I all of a sudden like find zen just from the way he's talking. He's absolutely amazing. I love his channel. I mean, I haven't watched all his videos. I get nervous about saying like, oh my gosh, you're going to love this person. And then they go to listen to that person and then they like 10 videos, but then the 11th video, they say something that's like controversial, like not something they agree with. And then they throw the baby out the bathwater like, oh, Kelly must agree with that too. So I'm going to stop listening to Kelly. Like Kelly's, this, and this, because this person said this. So just know that everybody that I recommend, they all have their pros. They all have their cons. I haven't watched all of their things. I don't ever agree with anybody 100%, and I don't ever disagree with anybody 100%. So Other People's Opinions, you're going to love this by Peter Crane, and you're going to absolutely love his Instagram channel. Tell him I sent you, even though he doesn't know who I am.
You can only worry what other people think about you if you think there's something worth worrying about you. If you think you're worried about what other people think about you, you're already digging in the wrong place, which is fine. It's human because we're all designed to want to be loved. The primordial imperative of every human being or organism is to survive. So we want to belong, because if you don't belong, you're kicked out of the gang and you're going to get eaten by a bigger predator. But it's not for me to get other people to like me to overcome that. It's for me to transcend it and realize it's not true. I'm part of humanity. I'm part of the gang. I can't not belong. And once we see that, we relax. We're not separate. We're part of the whole. Ironically, when you're at peace like that, you become one of the most lovable people around because everybody else wants a piece of that. Like literally, I want a piece of that piece. And so really this whole game is about not being accepted by life or others, but by being accepted by ourselves. Then with all due respect, everybody can think whatever they want to think about me. That's not mine to control or manipulate or worry about.
Okay, how good was that? I love what he talks about, like, we all think that survival, like we are wired to belong. And I always wondered why people in high school got involved in gangs. And I know it's a weird thing to think of, or like cults, or like, why do people get so enmeshed in cults and gangs? And like, why would you ever join a gang? A college professor once told me, he's like, people join gangs not because of the gang and what they're doing and they're just like this rebellious teen. They join gangs for that sense of belonging. They don't have it in their home life usually, not always. And so because they don't have that, they don't have it in their home life or their friendships or their school life or their academic life or their sports life. So they don't have that sense of belonging. So then they join the gang for that sense of belonging. It's because it feels like survival for them. It's air, and they don't want to get kicked out of the herd. They don't want to get kicked out of the cool kids club. They don't want to get kicked, and I don't mean cool kids like cool kids, but they don't want to be kicked out of the gang because they want to be part of the whole. And so they feel like that is their survival, and we all want love. We all want to feel like we belong. So when we don't have that, then we seek it out in sometimes unhealthy spots. Sometimes when people don't feel a sense of belonging with themselves, sometimes they seek it out and feel belong. They can kind of detach from that by, drinking for a little bit, and then they don't have to feel those feelings of not feeling like belonging, or they are feeling that sense of rejection. So feeling the sense of rejection, they're like, let me numb out for a while. Let me just not feel my feelings, and let me just go hit this bong or whatever that's called. I don't think it's called bongs anymore, but you get my point. That's why people do the things they do, because they just want to escape from their own brain and their own heart. So I love that when you know that about yourself, then you're like, oh my gosh. And then if you didn't have that growing up, you might be seeking it out in your work or in alcohol consumption, or you might be an overachiever because you're trying to get that sense of belonging and love and appreciation and acceptance that you didn't get as a little kid. And when you can know that that's where it's coming from, then you can be like, oh, I have to give that to myself. That wasn't my parents to give to me. It was back then, but they didn't do the job. So now I'm going to give it to myself. And then I can reparent myself by giving it to my own kids. And that's where true healing comes from. And I love what he said, I want a piece of the peace, because when you know someone who doesn't care what other people think, or they do with, I hate to say like you can never care what anybody thinks. I always like to run it through a filter. Does this person who's saying this thing, or I imagine they're saying this thing, because a lot of times they don't actually say it. We just imagine it because we're projecting, we're putting it on someone else. This person, do they know my middle name? Because if so, they're going to get a lot of grain of salt. Does this person know my dog's name? Both of them? Does this person know how old I am? Like, how much does this person know me to say these things? If they do, and they check those boxes, then they are going to get a huge grain of salt. But if it's just some rando that doesn't even know me in real life, and doesn't know my dog's name, and doesn't even know like how old I am or my middle name, then like they get the smallest piece of grain of salt. And there's probably some truth in what they're saying. And they just don't agree with me. And that's okay. They don't have to agree with me. Groupthink is probably one of the scariest things on this planet. And a lot of times people are very triggered when you don't think the way that they think. And so that's where a lot of their quote unquote comments come from. And I love what he said, when you don't care what other people think, or you don't care within reason, then people want a piece of that pie because they can feel that energy from you. And that is true freedom, because we have to give it to ourselves. And I love when he says we have to accept ourselves. And then my favorite thing, with all due respect, I really don't care what you think about me. Like, you truly don't, because it's like saying, do you have that person? Oh my gosh, that person has pink hair and they're talking about you. You're like, I don't have pink hair. So it doesn't even like rattle you at all, you know? And it's kind of like, have you ever seen those YouTube videos or those TikToks about like, that person said you're an owl, and then they're like, who? And they're trying to get them to say the word who, and that's the joke. But like, no one's affected that like someone called them an owl, because they all know that they're not an owl. And that's such an extreme example. But when you can use that in your own life, then you literally don't care. And when you don't care and you know it's all projection, then you realize, oh my gosh, what they think about me is none of my business, because they're just projecting onto me what I'm projecting onto them. And it's all this game of projection. And it's so much freedom. And then people want a piece of the piece, because they're like, oh, this person is a whole person, WHOLE, and they don't have any holes. So I don't have to fill in their holes. I don't have to do any work in this relationship. All I have to do is show up and be myself. And then all you have to do is show up and be yourself with that relationship. And that relationship is so calm and tender and loving and easy. It's very easy, because no one is seeking anything from each other. We're not seeking approval. We give that to ourselves first, and then anything that anybody else gives us is extra credit. So try this in your real life. Tag me in this podcast. Let me know that you're listening, and let me know your biggest takeaway. And I love you guys. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye. Hey mamas, thanks for listening. If you had any ahas, clicks, or those lightning bolt moments while listening, you have to check out my free parenting bootcamp, where we take all of this to the next level and we try to create even more awakenings for ourselves so that we can connect more with our kids and never yell at them again. You can sign up at www.coachingkelly.com. And if you really want to fill up my love cup, send me an email of what your aha was, what your click was, what was that lightning bolt moment while you were listening. I want nothing more in life than for you to have harmony in your home and to learn how to be an imperfect mom like me, which allows your kids to be imperfect too, each and every day. Thanks for listening.